What is up, dudes? Welcome back to Dudes Ascend, where we talk about how to elevate ourselves as men. My name is Hamilton, and here we are on day 2 of the 21-day challenge. Now, if you missed our previous videos, or if you've been following along, we're attempting this 21-day challenge of going without porn or masturbation as a simple experiment to find out. Do you have an addiction to porn? My first video was how to know if you have a porn addiction, and I suggested this simple 21-day experiment to try to go without it to see, 1, if you can succeed, and 2, if it feels really difficult, there might be something there to look at. So here we are on day 2. I'm doing this right along with you guys, and I will say today, day 2, has been a little bit challenging for me. And when I say a little bit, pretty challenging. I've actually had to really utilize a lot of the breathing techniques that I suggested in yesterday's video of using the breath of fire and the whole breathe out, then hold it. Done that a couple times today, just to redirect myself. I just woke up this morning feeling pretty sexually charged. I don't know, sometimes I feel like if I have dreams that are particularly sexual, it can just feel kind of antsy throughout the day, and you just have that energy in you. So I started my day today with the same Kundalini yoga that I talked about and posted yesterday, which is all about releasing negative patterns and habits. And I did feel much better after doing that, and I've just been continually checking in with myself. So this is nothing new to me. Like I said, I am fully aware before trying this experiment that I do indeed have a porn addiction. It's something I really came to realize. Excuse me while I adjust my camera a couple times. This stand that I have likes to just fall down and not really support itself very well. So if you see me adjusting the camera, just bear with me, guys. But yeah, so I know that I have an addiction, and I've been working on it for years, and I've made a lot of progress over the span of a few years, and just continually peeling away the layers of this thing. And I think when I first started, I had no idea how much of an issue it really was until I really started trying to walk away from it and just feeling some of those intense withdrawal symptoms. I mean, way worse withdrawal than I ever experienced trying to quit cigarettes or stopping drinking, things like that. I did a sugar cleanse that was really difficult, but porn by far and away has been the hardest thing to quit, and the science shows that it really is like a super drug with the way that it affects people's brain, and so it's not a surprise that it would be hard for someone who's really developed that habit. So if you're struggling too on day 2, don't be discouraged by that again, but also just meet yourself where you're at, and if you're already seeing the challenge in it, then it's affirmation of, okay, this is something I should really examine, this is something I should work on. And like I said, you meet yourself where you're at and you make progress from there. It's all about progress, not perfection. Don't expect to master this right off the get, especially if it's something that has developed over years and years. It may take years to totally conquer, and that's okay. But as long as we're moving forward and not back, those little slip-ups along the way don't have to totally discourage you. But I know the feeling. I know this is not an easy thing. So anyway, day 2, here we are, and I've been using those breath exercises, and I want to give you guys another a really helpful tool. Like I mentioned, sometimes dreams for me, if I have a sexual dream, can be kind of triggering and make the day sort of more challenging as I go about my day, if that's how I woke up. And also I've noticed that Instagram is another thing that sometimes if I'm just I gotta be really careful about just scrolling through the explore page on Instagram, because it's very easy on social media platforms like that to just come across some images or videos that are just like triggering and gonna make you be like, oh, like go down this rabbit hole. It's something else I want to bring up. Social media, Instagram, YouTube, things like that, things that aren't technically porn, but like if you find yourself spending, you're not watching porn, right? But if you find yourself on Instagram for hours looking at like bikini models and things like that, you gotta really be honest with ourselves and see, like, is this helping me make it 21 days without porn, or is this sort of like this slippery slope that I'm starting to slide down? And really, even if you don't ever go to porn, it's like it's still kind of pumping that same drug in your brain. It's activating that same reward center of like arousal. So anything that's like giving you any kind of feelings of arousal, you just want to stay away from during this 21 days. So the tip that I'm sharing with you today of another helpful like activity or exercise to try is this thing called the 3 circles, and I'm gonna hold this up. So what it is like in the innermost circle, this is the behavior that we're trying to quit, right? So I have porn, masturbation, erotic material in the middle of mine. That's your innermost circle. Then in the middle circle is things that might lead you to that or are sort of like a consequence of engaging in this inner circle stuff. So things that might lead me to porn, like I mentioned, Instagram, music videos, if they're like particularly like sexual imagery loaded music videos, anger and frustration it can be a trigger for me. Like if I get really angry, worked up about something, it's like this compulsive thing of just, I'll go soothe myself, calm myself down with porn. I'm just not thinking as clearly in that state. So that can be a trigger for me that I've realized. Other things I have on there: financial stress, being hungry, tired, sick. And sometimes I think this middle circle area is a really good one to really, really hash out. And you might have to revisit this a couple times and add certain things as you move on through this journey, because like some things are not as like obvious for me. Like I realize hip hop music is something that just kind of like gets me excited or like thinking about using porn. So yeah, not all the things in this middle circle are going to be like super obvious things. So you'll have to identify for you what are things that, sort of get that cycle going. Like addictive patterns work in a cycle, and it's like certain things activate that cycle, and you want to figure out what those are so that you can avoid those things. Certain situations, being home alone. If I know that being home alone is a dangerous zone for me, just finding ways to like get out of the house. If I come home from work and my wife's not home, or I can go on a run, I can go exercise, I can go to the gym, I can go if I really need to do something on my computer, take my computer to the coffee shop and get my work done there. It helps you set yourself up for success. And the outermost circle are things that make you feel really good. They make you feel fulfilled, energized, healthy, calm, happy, and just like very fulfilling, uplifting activities. So like I have prayer, meditation on here for me, exercise daily, writing, honesty, spending time in nature, reading books is a good, reading books just seems to be more calming and centering for me than like scrolling through stuff on my phone or browsing the web on. Gardening is a really just activity for me that turns off that little voice in my head, and I just feel it's a very Zen mode space for me, gardening. So that's a good one. Basketball, I like playing basketball, deep breathing, hanging with friends. So yeah, there's and writing or performing poetry. I do spoken word poetry as well. So anytime I'm using like my creativity, I feel really good. I feel jazzed up, you know. So that's a great thing to put in that outer circle. So this 3 circles, this is actually an activity that I got from 12-step meetings that I have been attending, and it's one of the first things they sort of have you do, like when you get a sponsor, just to, again, like help you set yourself up for success. It's like, you know what those things in the innermost circle are that you're trying to quit, and identifying that middle circle of things that might lead you to that can really be a helpful way to really keep yourself going, keep yourself strong. And especially like if you can spend like most or all of your day in this outer circle, you'll find yourself feeling really good and feeling and having a much easier time staying out of that inner circle. Porn, masturbation, erotic imagery, whatever that drug is for you, right? And this middle circle, they say it's meant to be like a safety net, not a trampoline, right? So you're not like spending all your time just bouncing around on this middle circle of things that are like kind of the danger zone for you, and saying, oh, I haven't watched porn yet, but you know, I'm spending a lot of time on Instagram, and you know, spending a lot of time at home alone, and I'm not eating well, you know, if all those things, you can't really sustain that very long without sliding in to that inner circle that you're trying to avoid. So yeah, the 3 circles activity, I really suggest writing that out. It will give you a lot of clarity, and it's a good thing to just revisit. Like I said yesterday, the breathing exercises are a great thing that you can do anytime that you're feeling really antsy and feeling like, I need to do it. Like those urges hit strong sometimes, man. It feels like a tidal wave to where almost like you have to do it. But trust me, like if you can ride that out for just a few minutes, your brain, they're seeing in like neuroscience and stuff, if you resist an urge long enough and occupy yourself with something else, like your brain will eventually get tired of trying to convince you to do it. So you don't have to follow these urges, even no matter how strong and compelling they feel. And I know from experience that it feels really overwhelming sometimes. It just feels like almost like you don't have a choice. But so the breathing exercises are great to do, and if you have this 3 circles written out, you can just open that notebook right to that page and just find something in this outer circle to do. What's in my outer circle? Oh, exercise. Okay, I can knock out some push-ups right now, you know, and then see how I feel 100 push-ups later. You might not still have that urge going. Reading books. Cool, I'm gonna find a book to read a couple chapters, see how I feel after that. You know, sometimes, guys, like on tough days, I could tell you sometimes I've had to redirect myself like this thousands of times in the day, like literally. And sometimes, you know, if you've built up a really compulsive addiction like I had and have had for a long time, you know, it's gonna be a tough habit to break, and there will be days where that thing just feels so incessant and so persistent. But you know, if you can make it through that day, think of how much stronger you are afterwards. Like every little time that you say no and that you resist that urge, you are strengthening your brain and you're rewiring your brain to be able to have more control over yourself, and to where this thing is not controlling you. And look, you know, I want to again remind you guys and just be clear that like this is not about shaming anybody. This is not about feeling shame in yourself about any kind of pornography or masturbation habits that you have. Masturbation is a very normal thing, but you know, the idea is that I think I mentioned in my first video how to know if you have an addiction. The idea is that like the Native American wisdom, they say like if you can pick something up and then put it down after you pick it up, nothing's really wrong inherently. Like if you can pick up a pack of cigarettes and then put it down later, that's fine. If you can pick up an alcoholic drink and put it down, there's nothing wrong with that either. But it's like if pornography or masturbation is like controlling your life, to where you like you're finding your productivity and your just level of happiness drastically reduced by it, and your ability to function, like you're late to things or you're not getting certain things done, then it's controlling you. So this whole journey is just about taking our power back and making sure that there's nothing, including this habit, that's owning us. And so hopefully throughout the 21 days, we'll just continually like be strengthening ourselves and each other, and we'll build up a bunch of cool tools like this along the way that is just like building that self-awareness, and really like the more that we can practice being self-aware and just like observing the things going on inside of ourselves, the less likely we are to just be compulsive or acting mindlessly. So yeah, that's my tip for the day, the 3 circles. Really take a few minutes to write that out, and as long as you're spending your day in these outer circle activities that are fulfilling and uplifting for you, we're gonna have a much easier time during this. So it's a great thing to be able to have on deck, to be able to refer to, and cool. Hopefully everybody else makes it through day 2, and I'll check in with you guys tomorrow with some more tips, and just check in with how I'm doing. And yeah, we're gonna make it together. Thanks again for tuning in to Dudes Ascend. Make sure you hit the subscribe button now, and leave any comments too if you have ideas or questions or helpful tips that you found, or even just any experience in this that you could share is definitely welcome. And also check out my wife and I's Instagram page. We do love coaching and also spoken word poetry. It's called Twin Soul Poets. You can find us on Instagram, and we have our YouTube channel as well. So my name's Hamilton. I'll see you guys next time on Dudes Ascend. Peace.